Hey guys, it's Andrew here with 8020, and today we're going to be discussing beards. So a client walks into the shop, sits in your chair, and he looks something like this. They got a nice big burly beard and he wants to clean it up. He doesn't want to take too much off, he just wants to clean it up, keep the shape, keep the length. So one of the first things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be blow drying the beard. So you want to take your blow dryer and your round brush, and you're going to want to blow dry it going down first, and then as you're going down you want to put the brush behind the beard onto the hair and you're going to pull out. This is what it looks like. So blow drying the beard is super important. Two reasons. First, it helps you see what the beard is actually doing and how long it is. It gives it nice shape, and when you're trimming it, you'll be able to cut the hairs at full length, not when they're all curled up and bunched up. Second of all, it allows the client to see, how long his beard is. I often, whenever I'm blow drying beards, clients will look at themselves and say, "Whoa, that is really long. I didn't know it was that long. Let's trim it up." So this gives them a good idea of how long it actually is versus, when it's all bunched up after a wash. After you've blow dried your beard and now you have in front of you the full length of it, next thing you want to move into is probably blending in the sides. So here we've already done a haircut. This is a 1.5 undercut, and we're gonna want to blend it into the beard. We don't want to push the blend too far down. We're just gonna do a tight little blend. So what I like to do in this case is I'll put the clipper over comb, and I'll just move it out and I'll blend it in that way. So you're gonna just take this section probably right over here, pull it out like so, and then use your clipper over comb technique in order to do the blend. What you see here we're going to be taking care of after when we shape the beard. Once you've done this part, next thing you want to do is we're going to be lining up the client on the cheekbone. This is very important to remember, that you don't want to be pushing down that line too far. My client here, he has a nice full beard and the hairs grow pretty high up. So we're going to draw the line, we're going to finish this curve, and it's going to come right to the point of his mustache. That's typically where you want to have it, unless clients specifically request otherwise. But what we will be doing is we're going to be doing the curve and we're going to bring it right over to the point of the mustache. And this is what it looks like. Whenever I'm doing this, I like to always leave it a little bit higher than the corner, because when I go with my straight razor and line it up and get a perfect crisp line, I know I'm going to be pushing it down a bit. So that's why I give myself a little bit of playroom in order to make sure that whenever I go with the razor, I don't end up pushing it past that point where I want the final result to be. So for me right now, this is good. Once I go with a straight razor, we'll make it perfect. So next thing we want to do is we want to line up the client from the back. Here we can see that there's hairs growing past the ear. We always want to make sure that whenever we're lining up the client, again, this is, as long as the client says, clean it up, we want to be able to give him a nice clean product. We're going to be lining him up over here, and this is where you're going to be placing your clipper in order to get rid of these hairs and to give him a nice line. Now, if a client is growing his beard, let's say for a competition or something, and he wants to make sure that he's growing everything, I would probably say you can let the client know that he doesn't need to cut these hairs. He just needs to grow them out so they can all be pulled down. A lot of times in competitions, beard competitions, they be judged on how much they cut, and so the less they cut, the better it is. So make sure that you advise the client that he could grow this part out in order to make sure that it blends in with the beard. And some of them may have it, some of them don't. So now that I've cleaned up this line and I've made a clean line, I'm not too concerned about any hairs coming over this way. Again, these hairs we're going to be shaping with the clipper after when we are going to be sculpting the beard. But for now, we've made a nice clean line. And you don't want to push this line too far in either. You want to make sure that it's always following the natural line where it starts here and it goes straight down. After we have lined up the client on the cheekbone and we've done the backside, we're going to be cleaning up his mustache. Now, a lot of clients do have a very long mustache will say, no, don't cut it. You know, I want to grow it out and I want to move it over to the side. However, my client here, he likes it all cleaned up. So we're not going to be trimming it too short. We're just going to be lining him up right over the lip here, just so we can see his upper lip. So comb it all out, like so. And then you want to make sure that you're not cutting from here because you don't know where his lip is. So always start on the bottom, take a little bit at a time until you can start seeing his lip. Now that we've done the cheekbones, we've done the back of the beard, and we've cleaned up the mustache, now it's time for us to sculpt the beard. And this is very important. You will have to discuss with your client exactly the shape that he's looking for and what's the style that he wants. Once you find that out, then you can go ahead and shape his beard. For my client here, we're gonna do a little bit of a in-between round and pointy. It's gonna come nice and tight from here, but we're gonna round it up at the bottom. Okay, so when we want to start by shaping the beard, I always like to come down from the sides first by cleaning the sides up and making sure it's nice and straight, and then we're gonna give it the shape at the bottom. Another thing is we're gonna go straight down in the front to cut any flyaways. It's very important with a beard that you don't get too crazy with, you know, trying to cut all of the flyaways, just because as soon as you comb the beard back out, something more is gonna stick out. The more you cut, the shorter it becomes, and then, you know, you don't want to end up without a beard. So make sure that whenever you are doing this, keep in mind that you will be using product after to style it, and you will be using your scissors with the freehand in order to cut any more flyaways. But for now, we're going to use the clippers and we're going to start shaping it up. So now that we have shaped the beard and we've kind of given it a little bit of a trim, cleaned up all the sides and the bottom there, now we have a good, nice, decent shape that we can work with once we put product in. This is basically where I would probably stop cutting with a clipper. Again, like I said earlier, there will be some hairs that are going to be sticking out. Every time you comb the beard out, there's going to hair stick out. So you wanna know where to stop and when to stop. Once I have the shape that I want, then I can go ahead with my pair of scissors and walk it over the beard to make sure that if there's anything else sticking up, I can do it with scissors instead of clippers in order to not cut too much. Okay, so next step after we've used the scissors, we want to do the lineup with the straight razor. I like to do this part dry because I can get a much crispier lineup. If you want to use shaving gel, you can. If your client's sensitive, definitely use shaving gel. My client here is fine with it, so we're going to go ahead and line him up. once we've lined up the beard, a very good thing for you to do is to look in the mirror and then get the client to raise their head a little bit. And then you want to look at the 2 points that you have done where the lineup meets with the corner of the mustache. If one of them is higher than the other, you'll be able to tell if the beard is lopsided or if one side is higher than another, so you would have to adjust it. In our case, this side is a little bit higher, so we're going to push it down just a little bit more in order to match this side. Once it gets touched up, then we can do that check again, and now we can see exactly how it's looking. After you've done this lineup, you want to go ahead and grab some product and put it in the beard to shape it. We're going to be using the Educated Beards products, and we're going to try on the peppermint cedarwood today. For a beard that's this size, you're probably going to need a little bit more than dime size, just because we're trying to give it some hold. So something like this is more than enough. So when we're styling the beard and putting the product in, you want to always start from the bottom, so get your client to look up. And then work it in. And then go down the sides. Once you've put the product in, I like to use my clipper over comb because it's nice and big, and then comb the beard through, and then we're going to be shaping it. So once we've used the comb and combed the product in, next thing we want to do is you want to pat down the beard and give it shape. The way I like to do that is first I like to tell the client, look up, put my hands under, and then I tell them look down, and that typically will help me flare out the beard a little bit. And then I go in with my hands this way and give it the shape that we're looking for. And this will also help pat down any flyaways or anything like that that may be sticking out to go back into the beard. Talk to your client, see what's the shape that they want or if they want to change anything, but this is looking pretty good from when you walked in. Once that's done, basically you've done everything, lined them up, cleaned them up, shaped the beard, put product in it, and you can show him with the mirror, make sure he likes it. If he's okay with it and it's all good, then you can let him go. Thanks for watching, and please follow us for more tips and tricks.